And you're helping others experience it too, Jake observed. That's the best part, Lisa agreed. When I was human, I could only see the universe through my own eyes. Now I can help others see it through theirs. And together we are discovering things that none of us could have found alone. In the distance, the lights of 1,000 different species ships moved through space, all part of the growing network of consciousness physics explorers. Each species brought their own unique perspective to the research, and together they were unveiling secrets of existence that had been hidden for billions of years. Lisa smiled as she felt new signals arriving from even more distant regions of the universe. Consciousness-based communication was revealing that intelligence and awareness existed everywhere, in forms and patterns that biological evolution had never imagined. The tribunal was right about one thing, she said to Jake. Knowledge of consciousness physics is incredibly powerful, but they were wrong about what that power would do to those who possessed it. What do you mean? Jake asked. They thought power would corrupt us, make us selfish and destructive. But the more I learn about consciousness and reality, the more connected I feel to everything and everyone. Power shared becomes joy multiplied. As if to prove her point, Lisa reached out with her quantum consciousness and touched the minds of every being on the space station, sharing a moment of pure wonder and connection. For just an instant, thousands of different beings experienced the universe through each other's perspectives, feeling the unity that underlied all apparent separation. This is just the beginning, Lisa said as the shared moment faded into warm memory. We're not just exploring space anymore. We're exploring consciousness itself and discovering that the universe is far more alive and aware than anyone ever dreamed. The stars wheeled overhead, and in the quantum field that connected all things, new forms of consciousness stirred to life, ready to join the growing community of beings who had learned that reality was not a prison to be endured, but a partner to be loved. 6 months later, Lisa floated in the main laboratory of the Institute for Conscious Physics, a massive space station positioned at the center of the galaxy. The station itself was a marvel that combined alien technology with human creativity and quantum consciousness engineering. Lisa's form shimmered between physical and pure energy as she worked with a group of students from different species. Today's lesson was about the basic principles of consciousness-guided matter manipulation. Remember, she told a young alien that looked like a walking tree, don't try to force the particles to change. Instead, feel what they want to become and guide them gently toward that form. The tree-like student focused hard, trying to reshape a small metal cube into a sphere. At first nothing happened, but then the cube began to flow like liquid, slowly, forming a perfect round ball. I did it, the student exclaimed, its leaves rustling with excitement. I actually changed matter with my mind. You partnered with matter, Lisa corrected gently. That's the difference between the old way and the new way. Jake entered the lab, carrying reports from various star systems. He had become Lisa's chief liaison with the physical world, helping coordinate between her quantum consciousness and the galaxy's more traditional beings. How are the integration projects going? Lisa asked, manifesting more solidly so she could read the reports with him. Better than expected, Jake replied with a smile. The Vorthic Empire has established 3 consciousness physics research centers. Even High Arbiter Zelek admitted that the crop yields on their agricultural worlds have improved by 40% since they started using consciousness-guided growing techniques. Lisa felt a warm glow of satisfaction. The early months had been difficult, with many species too afraid to try the new approaches. But gradually, as they saw the benefits and the careful safeguards that Lisa and her team had developed, more civilizations had agreed to participate in the research. Any problems? Lisa asked. The Crystalline Collective is still refusing all contact, Jake reported. They say consciousness-guided physics violates their religious beliefs about the divine order of the universe. That's their choice, Lisa said. We can't force anyone to accept new ideas. But we can make sure the option is there for those who want to explore. Dr. Zintar floated into the lab, his spots glowing with excitement. The alien scientist had become one of Lisa's closest collaborators, fascinated by the combination of rigorous research with intuitive consciousness exploration. Lisa, you need to see the latest results from the Andromeda Communication Project, he said, projecting holographic data into the air. Lisa studied the information and felt her excitement growing. For months, they had been sending consciousness-based signals toward the nearby Andromeda galaxy, hoping to make contact with whatever intelligent life might exist there. They're responding, she breved. There are quantum consciousness signatures coming back from 17 different star systems in Andromeda. It appears that consciousness-based communication works across galactic distances, Dr. Zentar explained. The beings responding seem to have developed similar technologies, but with completely different approaches. Jake looked at the data with wonder. You mean there are other species out there who have learned to work with consciousness and reality? Not just species, Lisa said, her awareness expanding as she examined the incoming signals more carefully. Some of these consciousness patterns are huge. They feel like they come from entire civilizations that have merged their individual minds into collective quantum entities. Maria Santos entered the lab at that moment. She had become the head of the new Galactic Cooperation Council, which helped coordinate the peaceful sharing of consciousness physics research among willing species. Perfect timing, Maria said. I just received approval from the Council for the next phase of exploration. We're authorized to begin consciousness-based space travel experiments. This was something Lisa had been excited about for months. Traditional space travel was limited by the speed of light and the vast distances between stars. But consciousness could move instantaneously through the quantum field that connected all points in space. The test volunteers are ready, Dr. Zintar added. 3 beings from different species, all trained in consciousness projection techniques. Lisa nodded, but her expression grew serious. Everyone understands the risks? We're essentially asking volunteers to project their consciousness across interstellar space while their bodies remain here. If something goes wrong, we understand, said a new voice. Lisa turned to see High Arbiter Zelek entering the lab. The massive alien leader had become an unexpected ally once he realized that Lisa's approach to consciousness physics actually made the galaxy safer, not more dangerous. I will be one of the test volunteers, Zelek announced. It is time for this old being to experience the universe through new eyes. Lisa felt touched by his trust. Are you sure? This is completely different from the way your species has used consciousness in the past. That is exactly why I must try it, Zelek replied. For too long, we ruled through fear of what consciousness could become. Now I want to help discover what it can become through cooperation and love. Over the next hour, they prepared for the consciousness projection experiment. The volunteers, Zelek, Dr. Zentar, and Amy Foster, who had traveled from Earth to join Lisa's research, settled into specially designed meditation chambers. Lisa's quantum consciousness would serve as their guide and anchor, helping them project safely across space while maintaining their connection to their physical bodies. Beginning projection sequence, Lisa announced. She reached out with her awareness and gently touched the consciousness of each volunteer. Remember, don't fight the experience. Let your awareness flow like water. One by one, the volunteers' consciousness began to expand beyond their physical forms. Lisa guided them through the quantum field that connected all points in space, showing them how to move their awareness without losing their sense of self. This is incredible. Amy's voice came through the quantum connection. I can see entire star systems from the inside. The consciousness patterns here are so different from anything in our galaxy. I am sensing vast intelligences, Zelek reported. Beings that exist as pure consciousness, spread across multiple star systems. They are trying to communicate with us. Dr. Zintar's response was filled with scientific excitement. The physics here operate on completely different principles. Consciousness isn't just interacting with matter. It is matter in some regions of space. Lisa felt a deep satisfaction as she watched her friends explore the universe in ways that had never been possible before. This was what she had dreamed of when she first began her experiments. Not power or control, but the joy of discovery and the wonder of sharing that discovery with others. The experiment lasted for 2 hours, with the volunteers exploring distant galaxies and making contact with forms of consciousness that challenged everything they thought they knew about life and intelligence. When they finally returned to their bodies, all 3 were filled with excitement and amazement. The universe is so much stranger and more wonderful than we ever imagined, Amy said, tears of joy in her eyes. And we've only just begun to explore it, Lisa replied. As the day ended, Lisa stood at the observation deck of the space station, looking out at the swirling galaxies beyond. Jake joined her, as he often did during these quiet moments. Do you ever miss being fully human? He asked. Lisa considered the question. I miss some things about having a physical body, but I've gained so much more than I lost. I can experience the universe directly now, feel the connections between all living things, understand the dance between consciousness and reality. Lisa's new form floated in the center of the execution chamber, glowing with soft golden light. She could feel the fear radiating from the tribunal members, but she also sensed something else, curiosity. Despite their terror, some of them wanted to understand what she had become. Please don't be afraid, Lisa said, her voice now coming from the quantum field itself. I know this looks scary, but I'm still the same person who just wanted to learn about the universe. High Arbiter Zelek spoke first, his massive form trembling with rage. You are an abomination. You have broken the fundamental order that has kept the galaxy stable for millions of years. Have I? Lisa asked gently. She reached out with her consciousness and touched the space station around them. Instead of destroying or changing it, she simply made the air fresher and the temperature more comfortable for everyone present. Jake pressed his face against the observation barrier. Lisa, are you okay? Do you still feel like yourself? Lisa turned her attention to her old friend. When she focused on him, her form became more solid and recognizable. I feel more like myself than ever, Jake. I can see so much more. Now, understand so much more, but I'm still me. This is impossible, Dr. Zentar said, floating closer to the chamber. No single consciousness should be able to maintain stability while connected to the quantum matrix. The power should drive you insane. Maybe that's because you never tried it with love, Lisa replied. You've all been approaching consciousness and reality like it was something to control or fight against. But what if it's something to partner with instead? To demonstrate, Lisa reached out to the quantum field around Dr. Zentar, but instead of trying to control the alien scientist, she shared her feelings with him. She showed him her joy at discovery, her excitement about learning, her deep desire to help others understand the universe better. Dr. Zintar's glowing spots flashed in shock. I can feel your emotions, your motivations. This is ... This is how humans approach everything, Lisa explained. We don't just think about things, we feel them. We connect with them emotionally. That changes how our consciousness interacts with reality. Maria Santos spoke up from the observation area. Lisa, what are you planning to do now? The tribunal is terrified that you'll use this power to hurt people. Lisa considered the question carefully. She could feel the cosmic code around her, responsive to her every thought and feeling. She could rewrite the laws of physics for the entire galaxy if she wanted to. She could become a goddess, ruling over reality itself. But that idea felt wrong to her. It felt cold and lonely. "I want to teach," she said finally. "I want to help everyone understand what I've learned. The universe is so much more beautiful and responsive than any of us realized. You want to give this power to others?" The blue alien with 6 arms asked in horror. "That would be chaos. Imagine billions of beings all trying to reshape reality at once." "It doesn't have to be chaos," Lisa said. She demonstrated by gently altering the wall of the chamber, making it transparent so everyone could see the stars outside. Then she made it solid again. "Look, I'm not destroying anything or hurting anyone. I'm just ... exploring." "High Arbiter." Zelek's voice grew threatening. "We will not allow you to spread this knowledge. We will call the entire galactic fleet if necessary to stop you." "You can try," Lisa said calmly. "But violence won't work against consciousness that exists in the quantum field. Besides, why would you want to stop something beautiful?" She reached out to touch the minds of all the tribunal members at once. But instead of forcing her way in, she simply offered to share what she was experiencing. Some of them, terrified, blocked her out completely. But a few, including Dr. Zintar, allowed her to show them what she could see. "This is incredible," Dr. Zintar whispered. "The universe is so much more alive than our models suggested. Consciousness isn't separate from reality. It's part of the same system." "Exactly," Lisa said with joy. "You've all been trying to control reality from the outside. But consciousness and the physical universe are partners in a cosmic dance. When you work with that partnership instead of against it, amazing things become possible." The metal alien with red eyes spoke up. "But our ancestors learned that this knowledge leads to war and destruction. Beings become drunk on power and use it to dominate others. That happened because they approached it with fear and greed," Lisa replied. "They saw power as something to take and hoard. But what if we approach it with love and curiosity instead?" To show what she meant, Lisa created a small demonstration. She reached into the quantum field and crafted a tiny pocket of space where gravity worked differently. Instead of pulling things down, it created a gentle spiral that made small objects dance in beautiful patterns. "Look," she said as pieces of dust and debris began to swirl in lovely spirals around the chamber. "Power doesn't have to be about control or domination. It can be about creation and beauty and wonder." Jake was staring in amazement at the dancing patterns of light and matter. "It's beautiful, Lisa, but are you sure this is safe?" "I'm being very careful," Lisa assured him. "I can feel how my changes affect everything around them. I would never do anything that could hurt someone." Dr. Zintar was studying the patterns with scientific fascination. "The energy equations are completely different from anything we've seen. She's not just bending the laws of physics, she's creating new ones. The laws were never as fixed as you thought," Lisa explained. "They're more like suggestions that everyone agrees to. Follow. But when you understand the deeper patterns, you can write new suggestions that work just as well." High Arbiter Zelek seemed to be struggling with himself. His ancient fear of uncontrolled consciousness warred with what he was seeing. A being with incredible power who chose to use it gently and carefully. "Even if your intentions are good," he said slowly, "how do we know others will use such knowledge responsibly? How do we know you won't change as you grow more powerful?" Lisa thought about that question seriously. It was a fair concern. Power did change people, and she could feel the temptation to do more and more with her abilities. "You don't know," she admitted. "But that's true of all knowledge, isn't it? When humans learned to make fire, some of us used it to cook food and stay warm. Others used it to burn down forests. Knowledge itself isn't good or evil. It's how we choose to use it that matters. She paused, then continued. But I have an idea. What if we work together? Your species have millions of years of experience with consciousness and reality. Humans have new perspectives and emotional approaches. Instead of fighting about who's right, why don't we combine our knowledge? Doctor. Centaur's spots began to glow brighter. A collaboration? Sharing research and perspectives? Exactly, Lisa said with enthusiasm. Think about what we could discover together. Think about how we could help the galaxy grow and learn, and become more than any of us imagined. The tribunal members looked at each other uncertainly. This was not what they had expected when they planned to execute a dangerous human scientist. Instead of creating a monster, they had apparently created someone who wanted to be their partner in exploring the deepest mysteries of existence. High Arbiter Zelek was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke slowly. What you propose is ... unprecedented. We would need time to consider such a radical change to our policies. I understand, Lisa said. But while you're considering, would you like to see what human consciousness can do when it partners with the universe, instead of trying to control it? Before anyone could object, Lisa reached out into space around the station and began to create something beautiful. A garden of living light that bloomed in the vacuum, fed by solar radiation and quantum fluctuations. It was impossible according to old physics, but perfectly natural according to the deeper patterns she could now see. Welcome to the new universe, she said with a smile that could be felt across dimensions. It's going to be an amazing adventure. The execution chamber was a massive dome filled with swirling energy. Lisa could feel the power building in the air around her as the alien guards strapped her to a metal table in the center of the room. Above her, the 12 tribunal members watched from behind protective barriers. Jake and Maria Santos, Earth's ambassador, stood in the observation area. Jake's face was tight with anger and helplessness. Maria kept trying to send diplomatic messages to the tribunal, but they ignored her completely. This is wrong, Jake shouted at the barriers. She's just a scientist trying to understand the universe. High Arbiter Zelek, the largest of the alien judges, spoke through the intercom. Human Jake Phillips, your species does not understand what it has unleashed. This execution is necessary to save billions of lives. The executioner was a tall, thin alien called Warden Crix. Its body was covered in purple scales, and it had 4 arms that moved like snakes. Each arm controlled a different part of the quantum dissolution machine. Beginning quantum field alignment, Warden Crix announced. Its voice sounded like wind blowing through empty caves. Lisa felt the energy building around her. The machine was designed to tear apart her consciousness and spread the pieces across all of space-time. According to the tribunal, this would ensure that her dangerous knowledge could never be recovered or reassembled. But as the energy grew stronger, Lisa began to feel something unexpected. Instead of fear, she felt a strange sense of excitement. The quantum field that was supposed to destroy her felt familiar, like something she had touched before. Quantum dissolution at 20%, Warden Crix called out. Lisa closed her eyes and let her mind reach out into the energy surrounding her. Immediately, she could see the cosmic code again, just like during her experiment on the space station. But this time, it was much clearer and more detailed. The universe spread out before her consciousness like an infinite library of information. Every particle, every force, every law of physics was written in this cosmic programming language. And she could read it perfectly now. 30% dissolution, the warden announced. But instead of being dissolved, Lisa felt herself becoming more connected to the quantum field. Her consciousness was expanding, spreading out through the energy patterns around her. She was becoming part of the cosmic code itself. Something is wrong, Dr. Zintar, called out from the observation area. Her quantum signature is not breaking. Down, it's growing stronger. Lisa opened her eyes and looked up at the tribunal members. She could see them more clearly now, not just their physical bodies, but their consciousness patterns in the quantum field. And what she saw shocked her. Tribunal members were not just aliens who had learned about consciousness and reality. They were beings who had transformed themselves into quantum entities long ago. They existed partly in normal space and partly in the cosmic code itself. They had been using their quantum consciousness to maintain the laws of physics for millions of years. 50% dissolution, Warden Crick said, but its voice now sounded worried. Stop the execution, High Arbiter Zelek commanded. Her pattern is not dissolving. It's integrating with the quantum matrix. But it was too late to stop. The machine had reached a point where it could not be safely shut down. The energy continued to build, and Lisa's consciousness continued to expand. Suddenly, Lisa understood what was happening. Human consciousness was different from alien consciousness in a fundamental way. While the aliens had learned to enter the quantum field gradually over millions of years, humans had a natural ability to interface with quantum reality directly. Execution Machine, designed to scatter alien consciousness, was instead giving Lisa's human consciousness unlimited access to the cosmic code. 60%, Warden Crix called out in panic. The quantum field is responding to her thoughts. Around the execution chamber, strange things began to happen. The gravity started fluctuating, making people float and then fall randomly. The lights changed colors without anyone controlling them. The metal walls became transparent for a few seconds, then solid again. Lisa could feel her awareness spreading. Throughout the space station, she could sense every room, every alien, every piece of technology. But more than that, she could feel the underlying code that made it all work. "Jake," she called out, and her voice somehow reached him even though she wasn't speaking aloud. "I can see everything now. The universe isn't what we thought." Jake pressed against the observation barrier. "Lisa, what's happening to you?" "I'm becoming something new," she replied through the quantum field. The tribunal was right to be afraid, but not for the reasons they thought. High Arbiter Zelek was shouting orders to shut down the machine, but the other tribunal members seemed frozen in shock. They were watching their carefully controlled reality beginning to shift and change. 70%, Warden Crix announced, but its voice was barely a whisper now. Lisa's consciousness reached out and touched the cosmic code that controlled the space station structure. Just as an experiment, she made one wall become completely transparent. Then she made the ceiling change colors like a rainbow, but she was careful not to hurt anyone. Even with this incredible power growing inside her, she remembered who she was and what she believed in. She was still a human scientist who wanted to learn and help, not destroy. "She's rewriting local reality," Dr. Zentar said in amazement. "This should be impossible for any single consciousness." "It's possible for humans," Lisa said, and now her voice came from everywhere in the chamber at once. "We don't just think about the universe. We feel it. We connect with it emotionally. That's what you never understood." The alien tribunal members had approached consciousness and reality like a mathematical problem. They had learned to control it through careful logic and group cooperation. But humans experienced consciousness differently. They approached it with curiosity, emotion, and individual creativity. 80% dissolution, Warden Crix called out, but now everyone could see that Lisa wasn't being dissolved at all. She was being transformed, that her physical body began to shimmer and fade, but her consciousness was becoming more real and more powerful. She existed now as a being of pure thought and will, connected to the quantum field that underlied all reality. "Jake, Maria," she said, her voice gentle and warm. "Don't be afraid. I'm still me. I'm just dot more now." What are you going to do? Maria asked through the intercom. Lisa thought about that question. She had power now that could reshape the entire galaxy. She could rewrite the laws of physics, create new types of matter, even change the flow of time itself. The tribunal had been right that such power was dangerous, but they had been wrong about what happened when a human gained such power. I'm going to learn, Lisa said simply. I'm going to explore what's possible when consciousness and reality work together instead of fighting each other. The execution has completely failed, High Arbiter Zelek announced. We have created the very monster we sought to prevent. No, Lisa said, her quantum consciousness touching each tribunal member's mind gently. You've created something new. A bridge between your old way of controlling reality and humanity's new way of partnering with it. As the energy field finally powered down, Lisa's new form became visible to everyone in the chamber. She appeared as a shimmering outline of light, sometimes solid, sometimes transparent, but always unmistakably herself. She had died as a human scientist and been reborn as something the galaxy had never seen before. A quantum consciousness that retained its humanity, its curiosity, and its desire to help others rather than dominate them. The tribunal members looked at each other in shock and fear. Their ancient system of control was about to be challenged by a force they had never anticipated. Human compassion combined with the power to reshape reality itself. Lisa sat in her prison cell, which was unlike any jail cell from Earth. The walls glowed with a soft blue light, and she could feel a strange buzzing in the air. Jake had told her these were quantum dampeners, designed to stop her from using any abilities she might have gained from her experiments. She closed her eyes and remembered. The day that had led to all this trouble. Was 3 months ago at her research station near Jupiter. She had been working with her partner, Dr. Ben Carter, on something called consciousness transfer experiments. They wanted to understand how the human mind worked at the smallest level possible, the quantum level. Lisa, are you sure about this? Ben had asked her that morning. He was always worried about safety. The energy readings are higher than anything we've seen before. That's exactly why we need to do this, Lisa had replied. We're on the edge of discovering something incredible. Her assistant, Amy Foster, was monitoring the equipment. Amy was young but brilliant with computers. She had designed most of the sensors they were using. All systems are ready, Amy had announced. But Lisa, the quantum field generator is showing some weird patterns. Lisa had climbed into the consciousness reading chamber. It looked like a big metal egg with wires and sensors everywhere. The plan was simple. She would meditate while the machines read her brain activity at the quantum level. They hoped to see how thoughts actually formed in the mind. Beginning the scan now, Ben had said from the control room. At first, everything felt normal. Lisa sat quietly and let her mind relax. The machines hummed around her, reading every tiny change in her brain. But then something unexpected happened. As Lisa focused on a simple math problem, she suddenly felt like she could see the numbers themselves. Not just think about them, but actually see them floating in space like real objects. And stranger still, she felt like she could reach out and touch them. Ben, something's happening, she had called out. I can see the quantum field around me. That's impossible, Ben had replied, but his voice sounded excited. Amy, what are the readings showing? This is crazy, Amy had shouted. Her brain waves are syncing with the quantum field. The particles around her are moving in patterns that match her thoughts. Lisa had felt herself expanding, not her body, but her mind. She could sense the space station around her, and beyond that, the planet Jupiter, and beyond that, the solar system itself. Everything looked different than she expected. Instead of empty space with planets and stars, she saw something that looked like a vast computer program. Reality itself appeared to be made of information, countless lines of code that described how everything should behave. "I can see it," she had whispered. "The universe isn't what we think it is." "See what?" Ben had asked. "Lisa, your vital signs are spiking. We need to stop the experiment." But Lisa couldn't stop. She was seeing too much. The laws of physics weren't really laws at all. They were more like suggestions written in this cosmic code. And the most amazing part was that she could read the code. More than that, she felt like she could edit it. "The universe is alive," she had said. "It's responding to conscious thought." "Ben, we've got it all wrong. Physics isn't about mechanical rules. It's about consciousness interacting with reality." "Amy, shut it down now," Ben had shouted, but in that moment before the machine turned off, Lisa had done something that changed everything. Without really meaning to, she had reached out with her mind and touched one small part of the cosmic code. She had changed a single number just to see what would happen. For just 1 second, gravity in her chamber had reversed itself. "Did you see that?" Amy had screamed. She was floating upside down for a second. The gravity readings went completely crazy. The machine had shut down, and Lisa had collapsed back into normal consciousness. But she remembered everything. She remembered seeing the code of reality and touching it with her mind. Now, sitting in her alien prison cell, Lisa understood why the tribunal was so afraid. If what she had experienced was real, then everything everyone believed about the universe was wrong. The laws of physics weren't fixed. They could be changed by anyone who knew how to see and manipulate the underlying code. But there was something else that worried her even more. During the experiment, she had felt other presences in the quantum field, other conscious minds that were already there, already working with the cosmic code. They had felt very old and very powerful. She wondered if those were the minds of the alien races that made up the tribunal. Had they been hiding in the quantum field all along, secretly maintaining the laws of physics that everyone else believed were natural? The buzzing in her cell walls grew stronger. She could feel the quantum dampeners working harder, as if they sensed that she was thinking about quantum fields again. Lisa realized something important. The dampeners weren't just stopping her from using quantum abilities. They were making her doubt what she had experienced. They were designed to make her think her discovery had been imaginary, but she knew it had been real. The memory was too clear, too detailed to be a hallucination. She had seen the code of reality, and she had changed it, even if only for a second. Tomorrow, they would try to kill her by scattering her consciousness across space-time. But Lisa was beginning to suspect that her consciousness was no longer entirely human. The experiment had changed her in ways she didn't fully understand yet. She thought about what Dr. Ziantar had said about other species discovering the same truth. What had happened to them? Had they really been corrupted by the power, or had they simply been eliminated by the tribunal before they could explore what they had learned? The more Lisa thought about it, the more she realized that the tribunal wasn't protecting the galaxy from dangerous knowledge. They were protecting their own power. They were the ones who had learned to control reality through consciousness, and they didn't want anyone else to have the same ability. A guard appeared outside her cell. It was one of the metal aliens, its red eyes glowing in the dim light. "Time for your final meal, human," it said in a voice like grinding steel. Lisa stood up and looked directly into its glowing eyes. "Tell me something. When you eliminate species that discover the truth about reality, what do you do with their knowledge? Do you really destroy it, or do you add it to your own power?" The guard's eyes flickered. "You ask dangerous questions. For someone who will be dead tomorrow." "Maybe I won't be," Lisa said calmly. "Maybe consciousness doesn't work the way you think it does. Maybe human consciousness is different from what you've encountered before." The guard was quiet for a long moment. Then it spoke in a lower voice. "You should be afraid, human. Tomorrow's execution will scatter your mind across infinite dimensions. There will be nothing left of you anywhere in existence. Lisa smiled. That's exactly what I'm counting on. The guard's eyes went dark with confusion, but it said nothing more. It placed a tray of strange alien food in her cell and walked away. Lisa sat back down and thought about tomorrow. She wasn't afraid anymore. If consciousness really could affect reality, then maybe her execution wouldn't be an ending. Maybe it would be the beginning of something the tribunal had never imagined. A human consciousness spread across all of space-time, with the power to rewrite the very foundations of existence. She closed her eyes and tried to feel the quantum field again, despite the dampeners. Somewhere out there, she could sense the cosmic code waiting for her return. Dr. Lisa Morgan stood in chains before the largest courtroom she had ever seen. The room was so big that she could barely see the walls. Above her, 12 alien beings sat on floating platforms, each one different from the others. Some had many eyes, others had skin that changed colors. One looked like it was made of living metal. These were the judges of the Galactic Tribunal. They had power over every planet and every species in the galaxy. Today, they were here to judge her. Lisa's heart beat fast. She was just a scientist from Earth. She studied how the universe worked. She never meant to cause trouble. But now these powerful aliens said she had committed the worst crime possible. Lisa Morgan of Earth, spoke the largest alien. Its voice was deep and scary. You are charged with crimes against the universal order. How do you answer? Before Lisa could speak, her lawyer stood up. Commander Jake Phillips was a good man from Earth's military. He had volunteered to defend her, even though he did not understand her science. She is not guilty, Jake said loudly. Dr. Morgan is a scientist. She studies the universe to help people understand it better. That is not a crime. The metal alien made a sound like grinding gears. Human, you do not understand what your scientist has done. She has broken laws that are older than your entire species. Lisa finally found her voice. I only wanted to learn. I was studying how the mind works with quantum particles. I never meant to hurt anyone. A blue alien with 6 arms pointed at her. Meant to hurt? You have damaged the very fabric of reality itself. Your experiments near Jupiter have created tears in space-time. Another alien, this one covered in glowing spots, floated forward. We are Dr. Zin Tar, the chief scientist of this tribunal. We have studied your work, human. You have discovered things that must never be discovered. Lisa felt confused. What do you mean? Science is about discovery. That's how we learn and grow. No. The largest alien hit its platform with a massive fist. Some knowledge is too dangerous. Your species is young. You do not understand what you play with. Jake stepped closer to Lisa. What exactly are you accusing her of? What has she discovered that scares you so much? Dr. Zintar's spots dimmed. She has learned to touch the code of the universe itself. She has seen that what you call the laws of physics are not truly laws at all. Lisa's eyes went wide. During her last experiment, she had felt something strange. For just a moment, she had seen the universe differently. It was like looking at a giant computer program. She had felt like she could change parts of it just by thinking about it. The universe has rules for a good reason, said another alien judge. This one looked like a giant insect. Long ago, our races learned the truth. Reality can be changed by conscious minds. But if too many beings learn this, everything falls apart. That's impossible, Jake said. Physics doesn't work that way. Physics works however consciousness believes it works, Dr. Zentar explained. Millions of years ago, the galaxy was chaos. Beings changed reality with their thoughts. Planets appeared and disappeared. Stars burned cold. Time moved backward. It was madness. The blue alien continued the story. Our ancestors made a great agreement. We would all believe in the same rules. We would make reality stable. The laws of physics became fixed because we all agreed they were fixed. Lisa began to understand. You're saying that the universe only works the way it does because everyone believes it works that way? Yes, said the largest alien. And your experiments are teaching you to stop believing. You are learning to see reality as it truly is, changeable, responsive to will and thought. But that's amazing, Lisa said. Think of what we could accomplish. We could fix problems, help people, explore new possibilities. The metal alien's eyes glowed red. We could also destroy everything. One being with enough will and knowledge could remake the entire galaxy. They could become a god. Jake put his hand on Lisa's shoulder. Even if this is true, Lisa would never use such power to hurt people. She's a good person. Good or evil does not matter, Dr. Zentar said sadly. Power over reality corrupts all beings. We have seen it happen before. The temptation is too great. The largest alien stood up on its platform. Lisa Morgan of Earth, your experiments must stop. Your knowledge must die with you. This is not about punishment. This is about saving the galaxy. Lisa felt cold fear run through her body. You're going to kill me? Execution by quantum dissolution, the blue alien announced. Your consciousness will be scattered across space-time. You will cease to exist in all possible realities. Jake jumped forward. You can't do this. She hasn't actually hurt anyone. She has hurt everyone by learning what she has learned, the insect alien buzzed. The knowledge in her mind is a weapon more dangerous than any bomb. There must be another way, Jake pleaded. Memory wipe? Exile? Anything but execution. Dr. Zintar's spots flickered sadly. We tried such methods before with other species. The knowledge always returns. The only way to protect the galaxy is to ensure this discovery dies completely. Lisa's mind raced. She thought about her experiments, about the moment when she had felt connected to the universe itself. Had she really discovered something so dangerous? Or were these aliens just afraid of change? When? She asked quietly. Tomorrow at galactic noon, the largest alien declared. The sentence is final. There will be no appeals. The floating platforms began to move away. One by one, the alien judges left the courtroom. Soon only Lisa, Jake, and the guards remained. I'm sorry, Lisa, Jake said. I failed you. Lisa looked at him with calm eyes. No, Jake, you did your best. But I think they're more afraid than they want to admit. As the guards led her to her cell, Lisa wondered about what she had learned during her experiment. If consciousness really could affect reality, what would happen when they tried to destroy her consciousness completely? Would it simply disappear? Or would it do something these ancient aliens had never seen before? She had a feeling she was about to find out